The situation is like this, especially for Vane, who wasn't here before. The Wilson's car is broken, and so they have decided to repair it and to continue. They have to change a piece of the car, Vanessa. So all the family, all the group went to a camp, and Tom, the preacher, Casey, and now Al are together looking for a way to repair the car. Yes.
Okay.
When Al comes, he tells them that grandma is not well, that she's talking as if she were mad, talking to grandpa, who is already dead. So they Al took a paper bag from the seat. This here, some bread and meat, ma sent, and I got a jug of water here. She don't forget nobody, said Casey. Tom got in beside Al. Look, we'll get back just as soon as we can, but we can't tell how long. I'll be here. So the preacher stays there with the car, and Tom and Al, the two brothers, went together walking to look for a service station or somewhere to find the piece that they have to change.
Ines, they don't, I'm sorry, they don't go walking, they go in the truck, no?
No, claro, they go in the truck, and they left all the family in the camp. So they are looking for a place. All right, don't make speeches to yourself. Get going, Al. The truck moved off. He's a nice fellow, Tom said. He thinks about stuff all the time. Well, hell, if you've been a preacher, I guess you got to. Pass all mad about it costs 50 cents just to camp under a tree. This is another problem, no? That some people charge them to stay and camp. So you have on one, the two sides of the same coin. Some people who are very helpful and show solidarity for the others, and some others who took advantage of their fellow people. Yes,
situation, no?
Yes, and they charge for staying there.
This is typical for limit situation.
It is exactly what happens. Yes,
show the best and the worst at the same.
Exactly. And this is what is happening here too, unfortunately. So, well, I don't know, remember the last couple of days, she's been airy, saying nothing to nobody. Well, she's yelling and talking plenty of now. Only she's talking to grandpa. So you see, the grandmother, probably is also falling ill, most probably. Now she's yelling, she's shouting. And, well, obviously, she's been dehydrated, not too.
Yes.
So then they talk about the mother. Ever see Ma stand up to him like she done today? At the end of the paragraph. The paragraph says, I don't know, at the end. Ever see Ma stand up to him like she done today? Not I remember. I did pick a nice time to get paroled. I figured I was gonna lay around and get up late and eat a lot when I come home. I was going out and dance, and I was going to go tomcatting, and here I ain't had time to do none of them things. Al said, I forgot. Ma give me a lot of stuff to tell you. She says, don't drink nothing, and don't get in no arguments, and don't fight nobody. Because she says she's scared you'll get sent back. She got plenty to get worked up about that without me giving her no trouble, said Tom. Well, we could get a couple of beers, can't we? I don't know, said Tom. Pat crept a liter of lizard if we buy beers. So the two brothers, no, they want to have a beer. They want also some stimuli. Well, look, Tom, I got $6. You and me could get a couple of pints and go down to the line. Nobody don't know I got that $6. Christ, we could have a hell of a time for ourselves. Keep you, Jack, Tom said. When we get out to the coast, you and me will take her and raise hell. Maybe when we are working. He turned in the seat. I didn't think you was a fellow to go down the line. I figured you was talking them out of it. Well, hell, I don't know nobody here. If I'm gonna ride around much, I'm gonna get married. I'm gonna have me a hell of a time when we get to California. Hope so, said Tom. You ain't sure nothing no more. No, I ain't sure of nothing. Yes, so Al also has some prospects. Yes, he thinks he's going to have a hell of a time in California. But Tom is doubting. When you killed that fellow, did you ever dream about it or anything? Did it worry you? No. Well, didn't you never think about it? Sure, I was sorry because he was dead. You didn't take no blame to yourself? No, I done my time, and I done my own time. Was it awful bad there? Tom said nervously, look, Al, I done my time, and now it's done. I don't want to do it over and over. There's the river up ahead, and there's the town. Hello, Gabriela.
Hello, how are you? Sorry.
This is page 140 in my book, yes.
Okay.
So Tom doesn't want to remember the prison and what he had to live there. So he prefers not to talk about that. He did his time, he finished, and now he wants to look ahead. Ma's awful partial to you, said Al. She mourned when you was gone, done it all to herself, kind crying down inside of her throat. We could tell what she was thinking about, though. Tom pulled his cap down low over his eyes. Now look here, Al. Suppose we talk about some other stuff. I was just telling you what Ma done. I know, but I'd rather not. I'd rather just lay one foot down in front of the other. Yes. Again, this idea, I want to, yes, do one thing at a time and think of the future. Okay. Al relapsed into an insulted silence. I was just trying to tell you, he said after a moment. Well, in the next paragraph, in the middle of the paragraph, he says, look here, Al, I'll tell you one thing. The jailhouse is just a kind of way of driving a guy slowly nuts. See? And they go nuts, and you see them and hear them, and pretty soon you don't know if you are nuts or not. When they get to screaming in the night, sometimes you think it's you doing the screaming, and sometimes it is. So you see, the picture is a very sad picture, yes? This is not the first time that Steinbeck produces a speech like this, no? Against the prisons, yes? Because he says that they do no good to the people who are sent to prison. Al said, oh, I won't talk about it no more, Tom. 30 days is all right, Tom said, and 180 days is all right. But over a year, I don't know. There's something about it that ain't like nothing else in the world. Something screwy about it. Something screwy about the whole idea of locking people up. Oh, the hell with it. I don't want to talk about it. Look at the sun flashing on them windows. Well, the truck drove to the service station. We are going to meet a character that Teresa mentioned before you appeared, a character that Teresa dislikes a lot. Well, they get to a service station, and it's a place full of a wrecking yard, it says here. A place full of pieces of cars and things thrown all over, yes, a wreckage place. And at the end of the paragraph, it says, over the whole lot, a spirit of decay, of mold and rust, twisted iron, half-gutted engines, a mass of derelict. So, you know, imagine a place where people threw things.
Yeah, terrible.
A terrible place.
Yes.
Al drove the truck up on the oily ground in front of the shed. Tom got out and looked into the dark doorway. Don't see nobody, he said, and he called, anybody here? Jesus, I hope they got a 25 Dodge. Because this is the problem. They need a specific piece. Yes, only for a 25 Dodge. It's a very, very specific. Behind the shed, a door banged. A specter of a man came through the dark shed. This is the character Teresa doesn't like. Thin, dirty, oily skin tight against stringy muscles. One eye was gone, and the raw, uncovered socket squirmed with eye muscles when his good eye moved. His jeans and shirt were thick and shiny with old grease, and his hands cracked and lined and cut. His heavy, pouting underlip hung out sullenly. You see, the description is very telling, very disagreeable.
Yes, this is ugly.
Ugly. Tom asked, you the boss? The one eye glared. I work for the boss. What you want? Got a wrecked 25 Dodge. We need a conrod. I don't know. If the boss was here, he could tell you, but he ain't here. He went home. Can we look and see? The man blew his nose into the palm of his hand and wiped his hand in on the trousers. Qué desagradable. You are from hereabouts? Come from east, going west. Look around then. Burn the goddamn place down for all I care. Yes, so he dislikes the place and the boss. Looks like you don't love your boss none. I hate him, he said softly. I hate the son of a bitch. Gone home now, gone home to his house. He got away picking a fellow in a tear in a fellow. He's the son of a bitch. Got a girl 19, Purty, says to me, how do you like to marry her? Because the boss, the boss we never meet, he's not there, is very aggressive also, very nasty to the man who works for him, because he keeps on telling him things like this. Would you like to marry my girl? Of course, the man is ugly, poor. Yes, nobody's going to marry. Dirty. Well, over there, look, Tom. So finally, Al finds that there looks like a 25 or 26. Tom turned to the one-eyed man. Mind if we look? Hell no, take any goddamn thing you want. They walked, threading their way among the dead automobiles to a rusting sedan resting on flat tires. Sure, it's a 25. Can we yank off the pan, mister? Well, so they opened the car. How is she for a tide? Well, she's a little loose, but not bad. Yes, she's okay. The one man said, I'll get you a box of tools. So the man not only gives them the car, but also the tools, because it isn't easy to take this piece. Yes, Teresa.
He's helpful. He helps them.
Yes, he helps them. Well, they have to do a lot of things to get this piece out, yes, from below the car, yes. Once you roll on, got no guts to keep you here. Yes, because Tom gets impatient. This is something we were talking with Teresa before you arrived, that Tom doesn't like the man and he gets impatient with the man because the man is always complaining, yes? And so he says, why'd you roll on? Got no guts to keep you here. Why don't you leave? Yeah, that's easy to say. Ain't so easy to get a job. Not for a one-eye man. Tom turned on him. Now, look here, fellow. You got that eye wide open. And you are dirty. You stink. You just asking for it. You like it. Lets you feel sorry for yourself. Course, you can't get no woman with that empty eye flapping around. Put something over it and wash your face. You ain't hitting nobody with no pipe wrench. I tell you, a one-eyed fellow got a hard road, the man said. Can't see stuff the way other fellows can. Can't see how far off a thing is. Everything just flat. Tom said, you are full of crap. Why? I knowed a one-legged whore one time. So this example he gives is very funny because he knew a one-legged whore, a prostitute with only one leg. think she was taking 2 bits in an alley. No, by God, she's getting $50 extra. She says, how many one-legged women you slept with? None. Okay, you got something pretty special here, and it's gonna cost you $50 extra. And by God, she was getting them too. And the fellows coming out thinking they are pretty lucky. She says she's good luck. And I note a handbag in a place I was. Make his whole living letting folks rub his hand for luck. You understand hump, ¿no? La joroba. Uno
Yes,
que
yes.
decía que la joroba daba suerte y cobraba para que le acaricien la joroba. Jesus Christ, and all you got is one eye gone, see? So he's trying to make the man be, more positive. Yes, the only problem you have is that you have only one eye. Okay, so this piece is funny because it shows Tom's personality. Yes,
Yes.
he doesn't like people who complain. Well, and the one-eyed man said softly, "Think somebody will like me?" "Why, sure," said Tom. "Tell them you don't scroll since you lost your eye." You understand the meaning of dong? Dong is the penis in slang. Dong. So the idea is, tell them that your penis has grown since you lost your eye. So you are going to get many women. Where are you fellows going? California, whole family, gonna get work out there. Well, you think a fellow like me could get work? Black patch on my eye. Why not?
He wants to go with them.
Yes.
He goes to go with them.
He wants.
Yes.
Could I catch a ride with you fellows? Here he asks. Christ, no, we are so goddamn full, we can't move. You get out some other way. Fix up one of these here wrecks and go out by yourself, yes? So repair a car and go by yourself.
Right.
Maybe I will. So the meeting with this man that Teresa dislikes is very funny. Well, so they repaired the car. And he says, looks okay to me. Say, by God, if we had a light, we could get this here in tonight. So they find a light, una linterna, yes, that the man, the one-eyed man gives them, yes. Say, what will you take for that light? Well, it ain't much good. Got 15 cents new batteries. You can have her for 35 cents. Okay, and what do you owe you for this here conrod and piston? Well, they want to pay, of course, but the man says, okay, no, I don't care because the boss is not here. So Tom gives him $1. All right, and I'll give you $25 for this here socket wrench. Make it twice as easy. He handed over the silver. Thank you, and cover up that goddamn eye. So his final piece of advice is cover the eye, yes? The one-eyed man watched them go, and then he went through the iron shed to his shack behind. It was dark inside. He felt his way to the mattress on the floor, and he stretched out and cried in his bed. And the cars whizzing by on the highway only strengthened the walls of his loneliness. So poor man.
Terrible, yes.
Yes, poor man. Well, Al peered into the dusk. The lights made no impression on the gloom, but ahead the eyes of a hunting cat flashed green in reflection of the lights. You sure give that fellow hell, Al said. Sure did tell him where...
Sorry, I'm
Yes.
lost. What's the beginning of the paragraph?
The paragraph says, Al peered into the dusk.
Okay, I found it. Thank you.
And at the end of the paragraph, Al tells Tom, sure did tell him where to lay down his dogs, because Al is also surprised that Tom has told the man all the things he has told him, yes? Cover your eye, do something for yourself, don't cry, etc., no? Well, Goddammit, he was asking for it, just patting himself because he got one eye, putting all the blame on his eye. He's a lazy, dirty son of a bitch. Maybe he can snap out of it if he knowed people was wise to him. Tom, it wasn't nothing I done burned out that bearing. So Al is surprised, but Tom has this energy, no? He's always acting with energy. And now he says, well, the solution is not to cry and to feel that you are, to be a victim.
Because I feel guilty because of the problem of the car.
Yes, but I mean, he isn't guilty. The car is so old and so broken up that, well. So Tom is silent, and then he says, I'm gonna take a fall out of you, Al. You just crabbling us over it. Fear somebody gonna pin some blame on you. I know what's the matter. Young fellow, all full peace and vinegar. Won't be a hell of a guy all the time. But goddamn Al, don't keep your guard up when nobody ain't sparring with you. You're gonna be right.
I like this sentence. The one from the sparring, no?
Yes, yes. Don't fight if nobody fights you. No, don't feel attacked all the time. Yes, because this is what happens with Al. Al feels that he has to explain what he does, and he has to give, to solve the problems. No, nobody's asking him to do it. Well. Al did not answer him. He looked straight ahead. The truck rattled and banked over the road. A cat wiped out from the side of the road, and Al swerved to hit it, but the wheels missed and the cat leaped into the grass. Nearly got him, said Al. Say, Tom, you heard Connie talking how he's gonna study at nights? I've been thinking maybe I'd study nights too. You know, radio or television or diesel engines. A fellow might get started that way. Might, said Tom. Find out how much they're gonna sock you for the lessons first. And figure out if you're going to study them. There was fellows taking them May lessons in McAllister. I never knowed one of them that finished up. Got sick of it and left them slide. God Almighty, we forgot to get something to eat. Well, Mass sent down plenty. Preacher couldn't eat all. Be some left. I wonder how long it'll take us to get to California. Christ, I don't know, just plug away at her. They fell into silence, and the dark came, and the stars were sharp and white. Well, they got to the place where the priest is, and they repair the car finally, no? And they decided to eat the food that Ma sent them after they repair the car. So we can go to the paragraph that says, okay, I'll turn her over. Found it. It is more or less 6 or 7 or 7.
Okay, I found it. Yes.
Okay, I'll turn her over, he said. I got into the car and stepped on the starter. The motor caught with a roar, so it worked. Blue smoke poured from the exhaust pipe. Throttle down, Tom shouted. She'll burn oil till that wire goes. Getting thinner now. And as the motor turned over, he listened carefully. Put up the spark and let her idle. He listened again. Okay, I'll turn her off. I think we done her. So they repaired the car. Where's that meet now? You make a darn good mechanic, Al said. So they have repaired the car, and well, what do they have to do now? They have to go and find the rest of the family. So at the end of
to return, no?
Sorry?
To return.
They have to go to the camp where the family...
to the camp, yes.
So at the end of that section, Tom said, some fellows like to hit them. Gives me a little shakes every time. Car sounds okay. Them rings must have broke loose by now. She ain't smoking so bad. You done a nice job, said Casey. Yes, so the car, of course, le sale humo igual, pero bueno, no tanto.
Al menos.
No tanto. Well, a small wooden house dominated the campground, and on the porch of the house, a gasoline lantern hissed and threw its white glare in a great circle. Half a dozen tents were pitched near the house, and cars stood beside the tents. Cooking for the night was over, but the coals of the campfire still glowed on the ground by the camping places. A group of men had gathered to the porch where the lantern burned, and their faces were strong and muscled under the harsh white light that threw black shadows of their hats over their foreheads and eyes, and made their chins seem to jut out. They sat on the steps, and some stood on the ground, resting their elbows on the porch floor. The proprietor, a sullen, lanky man, sat in a chair on the porch. He leaned back against the wall, and he drummed his fingers on his knee. Inside the house, a kerosene lamp burned, but its thin light was blasted by the hissing glare of the gasoline lantern. The gathering of men surrounded the proprietor. Tom drove the Dodge to the side of the road and parked. Al drove through the gate in the truck. No need to take her in, Tom said. He got out and walked through the gate to the white glare of the lantern. The proprietor dropped his front chair legs to the floor and leaned forward. You men want to come here? No, said Tom, we got folks here. Hi, Pa. So, one of the men surrounding the proprietor is their father, yes? All these people are camping there and they have paid to be there. And so Tom wants to stay there too. Pa, seated on the bottom step, said, thought you was gonna be all week. Get her fixed. We was pig lucky, said Tom. Got a part before dark. We can get going first thing in the morning. That's a pretty nice thing, said Pa. Ma was worried. Yes, Grandpa off her chump. Yeah, Al told me. She any better now? Well, anyway, she's sleeping. The proprietor said, if you wanna pull in here and camp, it'll cost you 4 bits. So now the man wants to charge for Tom and Al and Casey, no? Get a place to camp and water and wood, and nobody won't bother you. What the hell, said Tom. We can sleep in the ditch right beside the road, and it won't cost nothing. The owner drummed his knee with his fingers. Deputy Sheriff comes on by in the night. Might make it tough for you. Got a law against sleeping out in this state. Got a law about vagrants. If I pay you $50, I ain't a vagrant, huh? That's right. So you see, this is the owner of the place, the proprietor, has an arrangement with the sheriff. So if they don't pay, they will be taken as vagrants, vagos. So Tom's eyes glowed angrily. Deputy Sheriff, ain't your brother-in-law by any chance? The owner leaned forward. No, he ain't. And the time ain't come yet when us local folks got to take no talk from your goddamn bums neither. It don't trouble you none to take our 4 bits. And when we do get to be bums, we ain't asked you for nothing. All of us bums, huh? Well, we ain't asking no nickels from you for the chance to lay down and rest. The men on the porch were rigid, motionless, quiet. You see, everybody is getting anxious because there is apparently there's going to be a quarrel, an argument. Expression was gone from their faces, and their eyes, in the shadows under their hats, moved secretly up to the face of the proprietor. Pa growled, come off it, Tom. Sure, I'll come off it. The circle of men were quiet. sitting on the steps, leaning on the high porch. Their eyes glittered under the harsh light of the gas lantern. Their faces were hard in the hard light, and they were very still. Only their eyes moved from speaker to speaker, and their faces were expressionless and quiet. A lamp bag slammed into the lantern and broke itself and fell into the darkness. In one of the tents, a child wailed in complaint, and a woman's soft voice soothed it and then broke into a low song. Jesus loves you in the night, sleep good, sleep good. Jesus watches in the night, sleep, oh sleep. The lantern hissed on the porch. The owner scratched in the V of his open shirt, where a tangle of white chest hair showed. He was watchful and ringed with trouble. He watched the men in the circle, watched for some expression, and they made no move. Because the owner doesn't know if all the men were going to attack him too. Tom was silent for a long time.
Tom has to be really careful because he can't get in trouble with the
with all
police
the
again.
men there. Yes, there are a lot of men. Yes.
Yeah.
Tom was silent for a long time. His dark eyes looked slowly up to the proprietor. I don't want to make no trouble, he said. It's a hard thing to be named a bum. Porque el dueño había dicho que no tenían por qué respetar esos bums, esos vagos, ¿sí? I ain't afraid, he said softly. I'll go for you and your deputy with my mates. Here now, or jump Jesus. But they ain't no good in it. The men stirred, changed positions, and their glittering eyes moved slowly upward to the mouth of the proprietor, and their eyes watched for his lips to move. He was reassured. He felt that he had won, but not decisively enough to charge in. Ain't you got half a bag? He asked. Yeah, I got it, but I'm gonna need it. I can't set it out just for sleeping. Claro. Well, we all got to make a living. Yeah, Tom said, only I wished there was some way to make her without taking her away from somebody else. This sentence here is very telling, yes, of his ideas. We have to make a living, but without taking it from somebody else, yes? The man shifted again, and Pa said, we'll get moving smart early. Look, mister, we paid. This here fellow is part of our folks. Can't he stay? We paid. $50 a car, said the proprietor. Well, he ain't got no car. Car's out in the road. He came in a car. Everybody's leave their car out there and come in and use my place for nothing. Tom said, we'll drive along the road, meet you in the morning. We'll watch for you. I can stay and Uncle John can come with us. He looked at the proprietor. That's all right with you. So he's not going to stay, but he's changing one of the men, yes? Al is going to stay, and Uncle John is going with them. He made a quick decision with a concession in it. If the same number stays that come and pay, that's all right. Tom brought out his bag of tobacco, a limp gray rag by now with a little damp tobacco dust in the bottom of it. He made a lean cigarette and tossed the bag away. We'll go along pretty soon, he said. Pa spoke generally to the circle, yes, to the circle of men. It's dirt hard folks to tear up and go. Folks like us that had our place. We ain't shiftless. Till we got tractored off, we was people with a farm. So the father needs to explain, yes, that they were not bums. That they had a property in the past. They had a farm. A young thin man with eyebrows sunburned yellow turned his head slowly. Cropping, he asked. Sure, we was sharecropping. We used to own the place. The young man faced forward again. Same as us, he said. Lucky for us, it ain't gonna last long, said Pa. We'll get out west and we'll get work and we'll get a piece of growing land with water. This was the idea, yes, to work and buy another piece of land. And this is so terrible because they are not going to get this. No, we ain't got no money, Pa said, but there's plenty of us to work. And we are all good men. Get good wages out there and we'll put them together. We'll make out. The ragged man stared while Pa spoke, and then he laughed. And his laughter turned to a high, whining giggle. The circle of faces turned to him. The giggling got out of control and turned into coughing. His eyes were red and watering when he finally controlled the spasms. You going out there, oh Christ, the giggling started again. You going out and get good wages, oh Christ. He stopped and said slyly, picking oranges maybe, gonna pick peaches. Pa's tone was dignified. We gonna take what they got. They got lots of stuff to work in. The ragged man giggled under his breath. Tom turned irritably. What's so goddamn funny about that? The ragged man shut his mouth and looked sullenly at the porch boards. You folks are all going to California, I bet. I told you that. You didn't guess nothing. The ragged man said slowly, me, I'm coming back. I've been there. This is the first man they meet that is coming in the opposite direction, yes? The faces turned quickly toward him. The men were rigid. The ragged man turned toward the faces. I'm going back to starve. I'd rather starve all over at once. Pa said, what the hell you talking about? I got a handbill, says they got good wages. A little while ago, I seen a thing in the paper, says they need folks to pick fruit. The rag man turned to Pa. You got any place to go back home? No, said Pa, we are out. They put a tractor past the house. You wouldn't go back then? Of course not. Then I ain't gonna fret you, said the ragged man. Course you ain't gonna fret me. I got a handbill says they need men. Don't make no sense if they don't need men. Costs money for them bills. They wouldn't put them out if they didn't need men. I don't want fret you. Pa said angrily, you done some jackassing. You ain't gonna shut up now. My handbill says they need men. You laugh and say they don't. Now, which one's a liar? Yes, the thought, yes, is that if they had printed those handbills for propaganda, it's because they need the men. No, that is what Pa is thinking. The ragged man looked down into Pa's angry eyes. He looked sorry. Handbills right, he said. They need men. Then why the hell you stirring us up laughing? 'Cause you don't know what kind of men they need. What are you talking about? The ragged man reached a decision. Look, he said, how many men they say they want on your handbill? 800, and that's in one little place. Orange color handbill? Why, yes. Give the name of the fellow says so-and-so labor contractor. Pa reached in his pocket and brought out the folded handbill. That's right. How do you know? Look, said the man. It don't make no sense. This fellow, yes, the contractor is the name of the man that appeared on the handbill. This fellow wants 800 men. So he prints up 5,000 of them things and maybe 20,000 people sees them. And maybe 2,000-3,000 folks gets moving account and this here handbill. Folks, that's crazy with worry. But it don't make no sense, Pa cried. Not till you see the fellow that put out this here bill. You'll see him, or somebody that's working for him. You'll be a-camping by a ditch, you and 50 other families. And he'll look in your tent and see if you got anything left to eat. And if you got nothing, he says, want a job? And you'll say, I sure do, mister. I'll sure thank you for a chance to do some work. And he'll say, I can use you. and you'll say, when do I start? And he'll tell you where to